the Starlight Lounge presents An Evening with the Progressive Box.
Old moon, yeah. That's Hugo, tickling the ivories. He just saved by bundling home and auto with Progressive. Gonna finally buy a ring for that gal of yours, Hugo? Send her my condolences. Hi-oh! This next one's for you two. There's a burglar in my heart. Thank you.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Hello everyone, welcome to today's news flash, coming to you a little bit late, sorry for that, on a Friday, but on the show today, we will catch you up on everything Donald Trump said in his crazy new interview with the New York Times. Next, Virginia Governor Ralph Northam, Democratic governor, believe it or not, he is apologizing now for a blackface photo in his student yearbook. Back, I believe, from the Eastern Virginia Medical School in 1994. There's a guy in blackface and a guy in a KKK hood right next to each other. Jeez, that's rough. Cory Booker is running for president. Take a look at Rashida Tlaib and others standing up to the pro-Israel lobby. Vice layoffs, Elliot Abrams, and Howard Schultz will round out our show. All right, so here is what we need to know today in a new interview with Peter Baker and Maggie Haberman. They were the interviewees. They're the interviewers and Trump was the interviewee. So yeah, defiant President Trump declared on Thursday that he has all but given up with Congress over his border wall and will build it on his own, even as he dismissed any suggestions of wrongdoing in the investigation that has ensnared his associates. So it looks like he is steamrolling right now to an incredibly unpopular option, probably the second most unpopular option that he could possibly do here, right, between the government shutdown and the national emergency. The national emergency is second popular because people, I mean, believe it or not, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, you probably feel a little bit uncomfortable about the president unilaterally just trying to pull something off. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that this is not, imagine if any other president, especially on the Democratic side, the uproar in just a normal scenario when what is blatantly dictatorial going around the other two branches of government. So imagine what would happen if Barack Obama or any other Democrat even proposed doing a national emergency for this wall. And it is very likely going to be challenged in court. It's very likely going to be smacked back down. And so that is and then that is obviously going to enable Trump to say, well, we tried and it didn't work because the courts suck, whatever, and then maybe it could even actually end up going to the Supreme Court, but we don't know where the status of that is questionable at this time. So yeah, and it's very hard to make a case again that it is a national emergency. I mean, it's a for sure it's a dictatorial move. It's an authoritarian move, no doubt about that, especially when you're building, when it's a purely political decision. And it's very hard to make the case, if you're looking at facts, logic, and reason about what is actually going on the border. It's very hard to make a political, non-political case that this is a national emergency, that spending 5.7, however many billions of dollars for the wall is actually going to do anything about, because again and again, we have seen people have analyzed this, that many of the problems that we face on the border, for example, illegal immigration, the inflow of drugs, that is getting better over time. There's less and less people doing it, at least on the illegal crossing side. The majority of people who do illegal crossings, as I'm sure you're well aware of, they overstay their boundaries. They get visas to come into the country properly, and then what happens is they don't stay for the right amount of time, and they overstay their visas, they become American residents, and all that stuff. So that was obviously something that a wall would not stop. The only thing a wall would do really is militarize the border, give the Trump people a perception of the fact that they've won, and they have some sort of symbol to show for keeping out those dirty Mexican people. It's as simple as that. Yeah, and the thing about drugs is they all come through legal ports of entry. Like almost 90+% of the drugs come through legal ports of entry, and it's something that is been well proved and borne out by research on this, because it's really hard to make a case that you can we don't have walls around illegal ports of entry. And this is, again, by the way, something the Democrats have supported fixing a problem, which is better drug detection technology at the border, and this some sort of a smart border. And before we debate the policy on its merits, let me just say the idea that the Democrats are not willing to reach some reasonable compromise is it's ridiculous. It's not based in reality. Like, for time and time again, we've seen the Democrats offer, first, a little less money for the wall. Now they're obviously not going to take any more money for the wall after what Trump did with the shutdown and everything else like that. They know he's in a weaker position, and the base doesn't want it. Nor should he get a wall, any $0 for the wall, and I really like their approach on that. I think Chuck Schumer, all of them, incredibly commendable. You can see you get the sense that Chuck Schumer is really being held back by Nancy Pelosi and others, I believe, from just caving and giving Trump everything he wants just to try and end the shutdown. So it's really, thank God we have those moderating influences here on Chuck Schumer for just going full like, okay, Donald, I'll give you everything you want. That is the situation that we continue to see kind of unfold there today. On that, and it's such an annoying thing that this is, again, a continued topic of debate where this wall is going on, the debate is being discussed by the far right, and it's very it's so rare. Well, not really that rare anymore, but it's just really coming more and more prevalent again and again and again, that this discussion here has no basis in facts. No basis whatsoever. And it's not going to actually do anything for the people at the border. It's not going to make the border a better place. It's just going to be just a big, they're not serious. They're just not serious about it. I mean, again, there's better ways to do it. There's much better ways to do it. From my mind, I think what really AOC did, Rokana, Rashida, Tlaib, and Ilhan Omar actually standing up and say, no, we don't want anyone to fund DHS. They should not fund DHS because of the fact that DHS has treated immigrants incredibly inhumanely, no funding for ICE, and that's something that's an incredibly bold step, and it represents a complete change of tact about the way the Democrats approach this immigration issue. It's not always capitulating to the Republicans, not offering the second most militaristic option for the border. Like, the Republicans, obviously, they're going to go more and more extreme, so the Democrats are just left falling back and trailing behind them. They don't have any positions of their own. And the fact that they suggest that, and the fact that they actually put that out there over 2 years, and immigration is not the only issue they do this on. They do this on a bunch of issues, for example, taxes, for example, healthcare. Republicans have this solution. Democrats offer the second worst option, pretty much, and then something in between becomes reality, and what these left-wing progressive Democrats have are actually positions enshrined in stone that they don't want to budge on. To start with Bernie Sanders, now we got Alexander, now we got Ilhan Omar, now we got Ro Khanna, we got all these other people here who actually have these positions they're fighting for and injecting to in the national conversation. These are overwhelmingly popular ideas, so they're catching on very fast. All right, so yeah, Trump didn't only talk about that, though. He's talked about a wide range of subjects. He brushed off the investigations that have consumed much of his presidency, saying that his lawyers have been reassured by the departing Attorney General Rod Rosenstein that the president was not a target. So that's interesting. Trump added that he never spoke with Roger Stone, his longtime associate, who was indicted last week about WikiLeaks and stolen Democratic emails. It posted during the 2016 election, nor did he direct anyone to do so. The president dismissed the importance of the Trump Tower, the post-Trump Tower his team was seeking to build in Moscow at the height of the 2016 campaign, and he denied his own current lawyer's account of how late in the campaign he was still discussing the project. So yeah, their stories on that are just like everything else in this probe. They continue to change. They continue to mix around with really no sensible, logical path and pattern to them. They're just like, do we believe in this? No, I don't know. We believe in this. Maybe we believe in this. There's conflicting messages, muddying the waters, and I feel really bad for whatever media intern has to go through all the tape and chart out some sort of timeline for that. I mean, either way, though, they probably work for Vox, and that's the tough stuff they got to deal with. It's part of working for Ezra Klein, but still. Yeah, just tracking. Imagine you have to track through that. It is incredibly rough. So all the stuff that they say every time and time again. Trump said he played no role in directing White House officials to arrange for Jared Kushner, his son-in-law, and senior advisor to receive a top-secret clearance. Kushner's application was rejected at least after concerns were raised by the FBI about his foreign contacts. The CIA, which has also raised concerns, continues to deny him access to sensitive compartmentalized information. So yeah, they all kind of like Jared's a no on this. That still is another drama surrounding, kind of perfectly related to the Russia conversation going on. And yeah, so it's a really crazy situation, though, that he's dealing with here. Just keep in mind, this is after a 35-day partial government shutdown. He sits down with the Times that failed to force the Democrats to finance the wall and take a toll on his poll numbers. Most Americans blaming him for the standoff. Trump has expressed frustration that he has not gotten credit for what he sees as his accomplishments, including deregulation, increased military spending, and nuclear talks with North Korea, leading to the incredible quote, "I accomplished the military." No one in their right mind should view getting this government to spend more on military as an accomplishment, because it literally happens just the same as the sun goes down in the night and rises in the morning. Like, it's that simple. Like, funding the military is like literally a part of life at this point. So the fact that he says he accomplished the military by getting this government to spend more is so funny. I can't even begin to process, because I don't know how to process humor anymore. Oh, yeah, so fresh off a trade meeting from China's vice premier, Trump seemed relaxed and confident as he sought to make his case, distributing hands-out, including at one point printed copies of 2 tweets sent out in his name, even as he was speaking with his visitors. The interview was arranged after Trump reached out to A.G. Sulzberger, the publisher of the New York Times, invited for him for an off-the-record dinner. Sulzberger declined, saying he would prefer an on-the-record interview that included 2 of his reporters. The president actually agreed, so it's going to be a fun exchange and trade-off, and this is the result of that. Trump sat behind the resolute desk, this is how they describe it here, in the Times, sipping periodically from a glass of Diet Coke with ice cubes floating in it, resting on a coaster. His acting chief of staff, Mick Mulvaney, his senior communications advisor, Bill Shine, and his press secretary sat in the session with Sulzberger and the 2 reporters. Trump spoke in a low voice, getting a little fidgety, saying, quote, "I lost massive amounts of money doing this job." Okay, sure. This is not the money. This is one of the great losers of all time, referring to the job. Fortunately, I don't need money. This is one of the great losers of all time. But they'll say that somebody from some country stayed at a hotel. And I'll say, yeah, but I lose. I mean, the numbers are incredible. This is the best part about reading from this Trump interview. Like, there is so many wacko quotes that you would not even expect, like, a 6-year-old to talk like. So we go from, this is one of the great losers of all time, but I mean, numbers are incredible. So, yeah, none of the numbers surrounding Trump are incredible at all. So, yeah, he rejected the speculation he might not run for re-election next year, saying, quote, "I love this job," saying, quote, "I have great support in this party," which he's absolutely right about, which makes pretty much the idea of a Republican primary laughable, unless it's like maybe some candidate who does xenophobia and right-wing stuff better than Trump. But I think the thing that a lot of people miss about Trump is he kind of appeals to the right-wing base on a more personal level. He's like what they would do and how they would act if they were rich. He's kind of like stupid just like them, and he's kind of just, he's not, they just cut from the same cloth, these type of people. Like the Trump voters and Trump, I really feel like are cut from the same cloth. They have that same kind of mindset about them. And that is the really kind of thing that a lot of people miss when they say, "Oh, it could be Nikki Haley running," but people can view Nikki Haley as a whole bunch of things. But Trump is very well defined in the Republican Party and very, very well, very, very popular. Watching the emerging Democratic field, Trump said the opposition party has drifted far left as he derided Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts, and he expressed admiration for the campaign kickoff of Senator Kamala Harris, who drew thousands of supporters, saying, I would say the best opening so far would be Camila, that's how he pronounced it apparently, Camila Harris. I would say in terms of an open act, I would say it would be her. A better crowd, better enthusiasm. Again, I mean, I'd like to see what Bernie Sanders does when he announces the race. It's a whole other story. Some others were very flat. And then he mentioned Pocahontas, which we talked about a little bit on the Wake Up this morning.